Bah! Bet you weren't expecting that, were you? I bet I got you. Leapt right out of your seat and into my trap. Oh well. It's the same thing. You know what's gonna happen. You already know what I'm doing today. Unless you've never been here before, but otherwise you already know what I'm doing. Nothing too different. I just haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten it right yet. So we're doing it again because screw you, and screw me because I have to do it. Everything I write sounds fine in a vacuum, but it's not what I want. Maybe it's because I'm trying too hard to be the last one I did, but either way, I'm trying some new thingamabobbers now. Like I said, you already know what it is. It's the same melody. You can probably recognize it just by seeing it. But also it's not correct right now, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. And I've just added in a bunch of strings. I feel like these strings are actually too high. I'm gonna raise them. It also kind of annoys me that these whole rests are not in the middle. I mean, I guess it makes sense that they're aligned here, but then why aren't the notes aligned in the middle? I mean, it also makes sense that they're beginning, but like this just feels wrong to have the whole rest on the left side. I don't like the way that looks. I don't know if there's a way to change that. You know what? Let's see. Blah blah blah. Anything about rests here? Merge matching rests. Let's not do that just yet. Old style multi-measure rests. What? There's nothing for putting a whole rest in the middle. I can make straight flags. That's cool. Shorten stems. What? Oh, they're shortened by default. You can make them long. What? I mean, I think that's technically correct, but that just looks uncanny seeing these notes be so long. Look how long those stems— yeah, because the stem is supposed to be the length of the— if you have a note here, it's the length of the rest of the staff, right? It's the length of 3 lines. Or if it's a dot, it's— yeah. That's what I remember learning when I was taught to write down notes. It's just weird seeing it. So it's just weird seeing it, actually. I know, they're probably shortened to save on Anchor or something, or to save on space. You see how the space kind of dropped after that, the space between the notes. But still feels a little weird. All right, see, they're long here, but here they're short. Oh well. Okay, so again, you know what's happening. I've written in a bunch of string passages in cellos because cellos are epic. I'm wondering whether it should start up on the higher end or start down in the lower end, but let me just play it and you'll hear the string section come in, right? Does it make more sense for it to start on the lower notes? This like leap in the bass is probably going to feel really wrong. Either I have this and then the bass gets introduced along with this voice, or not that, right? So I guess then you'd be better played on a viola, but also shush. Okay, you guys are too quiet. I said yours pianissimo, but you're actually too quiet. I don't like that this note just feels like it comes in out of nowhere. It's gotta come from something. Like that, I guess. This doesn't feel right though. I could have it start on a chord here. feel like this doesn't feel very accurate. You know what I mean? You probably don't know what I mean. But like this just feels kind of wrong. But I'm going to excuse it because I wrote it, and I make the rules, so it's actually fine. Take that, Bach. Idiots. I don't know if I like it starting on a chord. It's a little hard for me to tell. I think maybe it should just start from pianissimo and then get higher. It feels a little better. And I think I would actually feel better if this just went down to F. Could do like that. That's probably fine. If you guys play a nice pure chord. It's very film music. I don't like that leading note. Or if it is going to exist, it needs to be held. The leading note needs to be held a little longer, not in passing. I prefer it to be a bit more pure. And by pure I mean don't have any dissonance quite yet. Okay, I need to make sure, yeah, that this mezzo piano only applies to this bottom half, and I guess for clarity I need this guy to appear just to make it clear. That's probably good. More critical of your work or the work of others. I'm in full understanding that, of course, other people's work is not going to be like mine, and it shouldn't be. I'm critical of other people's work insofar as I think it could be, because the first thing that I ask people I ask people or I try to infer is what the person is like, what kind of sound the person is going for, and that's kind of difficult to discern exactly without just straight up asking. And I haven't done a whole lot of music critiques, but usually I start off by saying, what are you trying to go for? Or maybe if they don't know, I try to like infer it, or even ask if they use like a reference, right? Like a reference, they wanted to achieve this sound, like they're really like, I don't know, like a Mendelssohn symphony, and they really want to emulate that sound. And then I think about, you know, where to go from there. But also I'm critical of other people's work, not to their face, but as much as I hear something that I don't personally like, or I hear something that I personally like, and then I think about how that can be used in my own things, right? And I feel like we do that all the time. Maybe that's kind of a lukewarm answer now that I think about it, but you know, we start it. If we find something we don't like, it's good to think about why you don't like it and what causes that dislike, in like an art term, not in like a people term, but in like an art term, art world, like music. Just think about it, and maybe you'll find that, maybe you'll find something, you'll learn something. Okay, like I said, these strings are the string and horn combo is very film-like, but that's not bad. I feel like this higher line needs to like fade in. I don't like that it just comes in so soon. I need it to fade in a little bit like this. Hello. Maybe a little louder. Okay, I haven't written in the chords yet. Not sure if I quite like how loud that is, or whether the loudnesses of these should just match. And I guess just, again, for consistency, I'll do it like this. Make sure this hairpin applies only to the second voice. You apply only to the second voice. Because you guys are playing Divisi right now, so I need to be clear. And I feel like this is going to be a big jumble of notes, but the violas are here to double with the horn, right? So we should be fine. And you know what? I'll have them crescendo at the same time as the horn. Again, just for consistency. Should sound better that way if I have them crescendo in the same time frame as the horn. How are you? I'm good. A little thirsty right now, but that's fine. I have sweet tea in the fridge. I always have a backup plan. And that is always sweet tea. Okay. Put you there. I mean, I hope it's clear what I mean here, right? Because this just feels kind of awkward. But, I mean, it makes kind of sense. I think here I actually swapped this chord for a 6. I swapped this out. See, this is a G minor chord. But here I wrote 1, so I'll just go back to 1 here. Like that. And you... Do you go down to F? I'm not gonna say that again. I'm not quite sure if I like how pure that is. Like, I like, of course, I like the 1 chord very much, but I feel like maybe it needs to be on a different notes, like D. Good, I like that more. Maybe because there's D here and D, this should move up to B. And you should probably move down to like, yeah, you should move down to B. Oh, I'm not sure if I like that though. Okay, so let me explain my thought process behind how I wrote out this chord. So usually when you write inverted chords, you write inverted chords because you want there to be a sense of incompleteness, right? I don't want this 5-1 cadence to feel complete yet. I want this 5-1 cadence to feel like it's there, it's part of the chord progression, but it's not the end of the chord progression. Having a 5 direct, like a root 5 directly to a root 1 is it's a very nice way to make a final sounding cadence, but it's not final. This is not the final part, there's more after this, right? So what I thought is, okay, either I could replace this 1 with another chord, sure, that's an option, in order to make it feel more incomplete. Or I could put it on an inversion. So in this case, I put it in first inversion. So the way you arrange different inversions of chords is a little different. You can just move the bass note, but there's a little bit more to that, at least for me. There's a little bit more nuance to that, and that the notes that you choose to put in the chord are important. Because although you want this chord to be a tense chord, it should not be an unbalanced feeling chord. By putting the bass note that isn't on the root note, you're already kind of creating a sense of unbalance. But you gotta be careful not to make it too unbalanced, otherwise it'll just sound kind of rough. It'll sound kind of murky. Now, what's my general rule for writing inverted chords? Well, because I wrote it on first inversion, I'm gonna try my best not to have any of these notes in this bass, otherwise it'll stand out a bit too much, right? That note will kind of, because it's on an inversion, your ear will kind of hear it a lot easier. You'll be able to tell a lot more that something feels kind of wrong. It's like not tense in a good way, you know? If you're gonna feel tense, you better feel it good. So I thought here, okay, try not to have D play in any of these as much as you can, because these are already being played in the bass, and the bass note is not currently the root note. The root note is B flat, the bass note is currently D natural. And then the other notes, you can just have them be the other guys. I would prefer if there were more B flats than Fs. But this is okay too. It's also just a passing chord, so I don't have to think about it that hard. But that's like, that was my idea behind this. And then here, as we move to 4, I want to move here to B. Yeah, because, okay. What is with all these guys? No, you stay here. That just looks disgusting. Oh my goodness. Yeah, see how the chord progression moves down, but the melody moves up? I mean, that is in theory a good thing, but that also does make this very weird looking. This doesn't look right at all. I know you can go to, why are you in, wait, what? No, you exist only in the second voice. Thank you. In MuseScore you can swap the voices. I guess it looks a little better, yeah. I mean, this is kind of weird, but like, you know, it should sound the exact same. Okay, good. Again, very film-like, but whatever, man. Oh yeah, because I'm making you guys play DVZ just for funsies. I'm gonna have you guys be in second voice. I don't think in actual scores they do that, but like, I like the look of it, right? I think it looks fine. Move you, you move there, and you move there, and you move, oh, whoopsies, wrong voice. And then again, G minor. Ooh, wait. I'm tempted to put 3 here. So I'd have a 3-2-1 cadence. That would be a D minor chord. No, I think logically the bass has to move all the way down here. Could we connect? I'm a music producer. I just found your stream. Why, hello. Oh yeah, just talk to me on Discord. You can find my Discord in the description. There are not a lot of musician streamers that are like actively writing music and not improvising. Of course, I think the improvising streams are great, but nobody like writing down their music, and especially not people writing it down. No, not a whole lot of people making classical music, I should say. Streaming it, I mean. Of course, there are tons of people posting their compositions on YouTube, but like, not a lot of people doing classical music. I feel like I'm a little alone out here, and you guys gotta fix that. Go stream it. I'm not forcing you to stream it. Getting into orchestral music and putting them into my productions, that is so awesome. Y'all ever seen the clip of Justin Bieber like conducting an ensemble of classical musicians? I think that was awesome. I kind of went in thinking, of course, like, okay, is this like a publicity thing? But no. Of course, he's not at all classically trained, but it kind of shows that, of course, musicians understand each other even if you're not doing the quote-unquote formal way of doing things. So what? Right, he did a great job. He was using body language, and he was making commands out to what he wanted, and that's exactly what a conductor does. Sure, he didn't do it in the professional standardized way, but that's still conducting. Amateur conducting, it's still conducting. And I really appreciated that video. That was a very nice video. Okay, so this is bleh. See? If I got good and fast at it, I would stream. See, that's the trick. I literally learned to write orchestra music on stream. I learned it on stream. I did do a little bit of study, like, because I checked out like library books and I read them, but like, I went over my findings on stream. I learned it all here. And you can go back and look at them, I guess, if you want. But yeah, I did learn most of my orchestra writing tips right here in front of y'all. Melding other genres into classical. Oh, of course. I think it's a great idea. I feel like you just need to do it right, right? I don't want like the classical thing to be like a gimmick. Like, like George Gershwin's like Rhapsody in Blue, right? That's like a fusion of jazz and classical music. And of course it's famous for that exact reason. So there are things that are awesome. And like, November Rain, stuff like that, like there's a great way to use, what was that track? The orchestra track, something. There's Guns N' Roses and then the Beatles. They use classical things. Um, I think what was that song with the piano solo that was like sped up to sound like a harpsichord in the Beatles catalog? Is it In My Life? That doesn't sound right, but I don't quite remember. I haven't listened to it in a while. A classical country rock opera Wind. That sounds so epic. I usually have strings and acoustic instruments to fill my productions. I want to learn to make hits more. Like an orchestral hits. I'm gonna give you a tip. If you want to learn how to make like an orchestral sting sound, the composer you're looking for is Stravinsky. There is no other composer that does a better orchestral hit than Stravinsky. In fact, the orchestral hit, like generic sound effect, is from Stravinsky himself. It's from the Firebird. So classical rock is crazy. Well, yeah, but the Beatles did it, so why not you? Okay, I feel like here I want to have the modulation that I have been wanting to F major because of memes. So I'm gonna put you here, and I'm going to put a key signature here, F major. There you go. Okay, I do have the original pulled up. For those of you who don't know, this is an original octet that I wrote, and then I'm transferring it. Transferring is kind of the wrong word. Not even like I guess arranging, but like reinterpreting it for orchestra. But it is my work, so it's not like I'm rearranging Beethoven. I didn't even like consider the possibility that like like orchestrators in training rearrange works that aren't their own for some reason. Like that thought never even crossed my mind, but it makes a whole lot of sense actually to do that. What page layout is that? This is continuous view. I mean, of course there's page view. I just find it easier to do horizontal view. It's just easier to navigate. Of course, when you publish it, it will look like this. There's also a continuous vertical view, but this is just disgusting. I don't really like this that much for writing. This is much easier to see. So. You ought to move down to A, and you ought to move down to A. Okay, so this is like... It's kind of an expected modulation, I think. But we're gonna keep it like that. Okay. Not sure if I even want these decrescendos. I just want to hear what it sounds like, and then I'll talk to you about what I think I can improve. Okay, so some things I noticed. This melody line is not nearly as pronounced as it should be. It's not loud enough. I mean, it's getting kind of buried, I think. I don't want it to be too bright, but I don't want it to be too... I don't want it to be too... buried. It needs to, like, be like a middle ground, and I feel like I have an idea of how to do that, but also what's bothering me is that these slurs are incorrectly placed. So... move. Maybe accents. Perhaps what I'm thinking is this melody isn't Okay, so how do I make a melody sound more prominent but not brighter? You know, usually when you have a melody, you put it in the higher registers because it's easier to hear over everything else. But I don't want that quite. I feel like if I make you any louder, you'll just kind of dominate the whole thing. See, I mean, I think that's okay sounding. I think we can do better. I ever made a fugue? Bro, I wish. So, are you a hobby composer or a real composer? I mean, that's a very funky question. If you're asking if I do composing as my job, nope, not even close. Yeah, I just do this. In fact, half of my composing is maybe even like 2/3 is on stream. Just like the majority, or maybe just half of the work I do when I write is on the stream, and so you know, it's like a hobby thing. I think here I want to have like a bassoon, right? The bassoon has a beautiful warm tone, but it has a series of overtones that make it feel, it makes its presence known. Oh, the bassoon is gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Okay. I don't want any slurs here. I've decided, but yeah, I chose the bassoon because bassoon doubles nicely with horn. That's like a sage advice from lots of orchestrators, but bassoon in its higher register is a very warm and kind of thin sound, but it's not a bright sound. I was thinking oboe maybe, but the oboe has a very bright sound. It is a smooth sound. Better, it's less bright than a flute, but it's still bright, and the bassoon is kind of the middle grounds. I was thinking maybe even trombone, so how about we try trombone? Here. Maybe, I think it has to be a little quieter though, because, well, it's a trombone. So just stay at piano volume. Okay. I mean, I'm glad I tried that, but I prefer bassoon. I think bassoon just sounds prettier. When did you start composing? I've answered this question a lot, but I always forget my answer to it. It was like a year and a few months ago, I think, like almost a year and a half, I think, at this point. Like composing classical music specifically, about a year and a half. Writing any music in general, since I learned how to play the piano. But like, those were like, you know, I listened to a lot of rock music, so it'd be just a lot of chords. But writing like classical music for many instruments, pretty recent. When did I start writing for orchestra? Even more recent than that. Maybe like, I don't know, like, when did I start streaming the creation of Homesick? I don't remember. That must have been like at least less than 6 months ago, at the very least. Guitar or piano? I play both, but I only play one of them classically. You'll never guess which one it is. You'll never be able to guess. You compose for piano? I used to. I don't anymore. I mean, not that I don't like the piano. I think there are a lot of cool pieces for piano, but I don't know. I just like writing for orchestra. That's my phase right now. My orchestra phase. So right now it's like this. Okay. So I feel like I should move this retardando over here. Whoopsies. Where's the tempo? Tempo here. I feel like you. Timpani now, not yet. Timpani will be later at the finale when there's a big bold moment. Right now, this is just the setup. I think there could be timpani, but I need to accentuate the smoothness of the strings first and how the strings blend so well with horns. Like usually the strings and the brass section don't really get along, but the horns are a very nice middle ground for the orchestra. I'm more curious about this ending here. Okay. Something stands out to me here. I want this chord to feel more tense. This chord doesn't feel tense enough. It feels too pure to me. Maybe it's that I don't want this note to be... Also, wait a second. You're supposed to be doubling the bass. I made you do something completely different. Yeah, I'm like, why does it sound so off? It probably shouldn't end here on 2. It should end on a different note, like maybe just stay on G. That would make you a second inversion chord. I really, really like this. Okay. High shimmering pedal note. I experimented with that last time where I had a bunch of like tremolo violins and violas kind of filling in. That's a very romantic era kind of thing to add as really high tremolo notes, and they do add a lot of shimmer. I can understand why people want it. Bass clef isn't real. You're so right. There's no such thing. Hold on. You'll never know the difference. They'll never know. No such thing. Who even needs bass clef? Because it doesn't exist. Beautiful. Okay. Fixing music one stave at a time. So true, bro. Okay, so there's this nice oboe melody that happens after this, and I'm curious about how I'm going to write this in. Oh wait, yeah, this needs to be transposed to F major. Wow, magic, right? I think high oboe is nice and piercing. If there's anything I like about instruments, it's how well they penetrate. So we want our oboe to be nice and high in the higher registers. It'll sound beautiful. 3/4 is the best time signature. 3/4 is a great time signature. 5/4 has a nice swing to it. And 4/4 is nice. I usually write in 4/4 because I don't know. 6/8's also fun if you can write in 6/8. 6/8 in my opinion is my favorite. It is fun. I do like me some 6/8. Okay. The 6/8 guitarist, bro. True. Although I do listen, like my favorite rock band is System of a Down, so like they have some pretty wacky time sigs in some of them, but not all of them. Okay, keep this on. Real ones use 9/8. I did actually, on the topic of 9/8, I did learn Blue Rondo a la Turk for a... It's not a competition. It was more like a diploma Because where I grew up, my music teacher was part of a guild of musicians, and so they gave out diplomas, and I received them. And Blue Rondo Alaturk was part of my repertoire. Chords sounded off because you reacted to playback instead of playing on a piano and doing note input. Your cellos and basses start to be used like sketching track for harmony. I don't have a piano. But also I'm thinking of this very functionally, and that because I wrote down all of my chords, and if I think it sounds hollow, then I'll analyze why I think it sounds hollow, and then I'll fix it. In this case, it's not that I think it sounded hollow, it sounded too pure. I didn't like that the chord was ringing out as C minor so much. I wanted it to feel very tense. And I have some options for that. I could replace it. I thought maybe I could replace it with like a diminished 2 chord. That might be fun. But instead I took the easy way out and just put it like this on an inversion, second inversion, so that it'll feel more. Force Tentacruel to update the app, please. At least make him fix all the crashes. Sad. Every song is bad without triangle. Actually, kind of true. Okay, I think I should have you guys decrescendo here into piano, and then y'all are gonna go down to piano as well, but only the Grinch, the second voice. There you go, because first voice is playing this stuff. And then you don't need to do any of that. You can just do piano and then ka-chunk. Okay. Should the bassoon be louder? Maybe the bassoon should be louder. This mu score? Yes, mu score 4. This chord here, I realized there's no E ringing out in this E flat major chord. I could just move you down to E, that's fine. And then I guess you will then be different notes, but that's okay. You stay at E, and then you move up to G, and then you stay at G. And then you can move up. Look at all those G's. That should sound better. Yes. Okay, immediately that sounds better. You are so loud! Oh my gosh! I know it's your solo, but my goodness. Piano. That couldn't have been your piano volume. Okay, I think I want to switch up the accompaniment here a little bit. I want there to be like a more woodwind accompaniment kind of thing, or maybe even a brassier one. I feel like I need to get better at writing these brass harmonies, and I do have notes on them. Want to see all my files? You see how many times I've redone this? This is the 4th revision, by the way. 4th revision for orchestra, because I'm trying to get it right. But I am basing it off of something I already wrote. This is my reference. I wrote this. This is my reference. So... Oh... I forgot what it was called. It was like chord study or something. The guitar is the sexiest instrument. Is it? What do I think is the sexiest? Like in terms of sound? I don't know in terms of sound, but like in terms of looks? What's the best looking instrument? I don't know. You can get really, really pretty harpsichords, but that's mostly because people just like paint them. They like actually do have paintings on them. Is this Windows 7? No, it's Windows Vista. Okay. So, I do have my notes here, and I don't remember if I have anything specifically about brass. I probably do. Yeah. I wrote here, this is straight from Rimsky-Korsakov's Principles of Orchestration book, by the way. I did a stream where I took notes on this. So the notes in red are bad examples, and then the notes in green are good examples. So for each thing, I wrote at least 2 bad examples and 2 good examples. And here I'm interested in my notes for brass instruments. So I'll read here what I wrote. And usually for 4-part harmony for trombones and tuba, the third trombone and tuba form the bass in octaves. They do here. Other trombones fill out the harmony supported by another brass instrument. So you guys are playing this. Trombones are filling in most of the harmony. And then the horns are kind of filling in here. I mean, I guess it's a little hard to hear. Let's try it in a softer volume. I mean, the horn offers a more rounded tone, but I think just having more instruments in the party makes it sound better. Okay. Violin and classical guitar is beautiful in my opinion. Yeah. I was thinking like in terms of sound. Definitely horn is up there for sexiest like sound. In terms of instruments. I'm also really partial to the oboe. I think it sounds great. I know a lot of people think it sounds weird and like it sounds like a little kid is dying and taking his last breath, but whatever. I think it sounds great. Okay. Seconds and sevenths are better played by two different brass instruments. Fair enough. Quartet of 2 horns and 2 bassoons and crossing parts yields a finely balanced tone. This chord should be given to bassoons and not horns. Okay. Forte passages or brass, I don't think I'll be doing that. I mean, maybe, but... Okay, and this is brass and strings combining. Okay. Just going back to my notes, I also have... You guys want to see my projects? It was this one here. What instrument is this for? These guys. Orchestra. What is a harmonica? That's a harmonica. I have 5 of them. And they're my favorite instruments to play because they're so easy. Okay. So what was I looking for here is this thing, which is my reference project. Harmonica is the sexiest. Yeah, I think I've decided now. I guess the voice also counts as an instrument. Oh well. Okay, yeah, this project here, not a lot of... Okay, well, Tchaikovsky wrote for a bunch of brass. Listen to that wonderful sound. But also, this is the 1812 Overture, so I don't know if that really counts. And the way that composers I'm seeing tend to use the brass instruments, they use the horns the most, by the way. You'll see that here, Tchaikovsky used a bunch of horns, Beethoven used a bunch of horns, and Brahms used a bunch of horns. Don't worry, this is in bass clef. So that's... I think horns either are used as like a foundation for the chord or as the chord itself, and I think whichever one you choose will have a different sound. So here, Brahms went for a very bright open sound. So to achieve that bright open sound, the horns and the brasses, just the brasses in general, you can see how far apart they all are. Um, in order to achieve a brighter sound, he used open harmony brass, and Beethoven, for example, went for a much darker sound. Not darker, but like more full sound as opposed to a very wide sound, very round sound instead of a very, I don't want to say flat sound. I meant when I was gonna say flat, I meant like flat as in more like it has more space to breathe. I don't really know. This is why our language sucks, the English language, because it really sucks at describing sounds. It just does. We have words for everything else, but we don't have good words to describe sounds. Anyway, we also have the Mahler sound, just so you guys. I know you guys want to hear the Mahler chord because it's a great chord. So, you can use physical sounds to describe sounds. I guess. I mean, I'm trying to say it in a way that's like abstracted so that a lot of people kind of get what I mean, but I know what you mean by saying that. Okay. Oh yeah, so I'm here to see how I think I should orchestrate this next bit. Yeah, here. I'm not sure if I want like the strings to really take over here, but they can. I think I might want something like this. Where, maybe not yet actually. Maybe something closer to the Beethoven. What is the Schumann one? Ooh, maybe something closer to this. I mean, that difference might just come from because Beethoven used a timpani. The Schumann chord is just in the higher register. Okay, I said this is like a pipe organ sound. And it really is because of these guys. These guys kind of have that nice higher end of the pipe organ. I mean, of course a pipe organ can sound like a lot of things, but like in this case it reminded me of a pipe organ. So like a common theme of writing strings with other instruments, strings on their own can be kind of, you know, they can play chords however they please, but strings when you combine with other instruments, they tend to, you can see throughout the whole thing, they tend to be an more open harmony. See, like these guys are all really separated out, and well, except for Mahler, but Mahler is kind of weird. Throughout you know, the classical period and the romantic period, the strings are often very, very separated out. Very separate. They're all separated. Here, in fact, Beethoven made it so that these guys are only playing one note. Mozart was a little more generous, but they're still very open. So strings, when they're combined with other instruments, they're spread open apart. And I think that's because the composers were thinking of the strings more as like a supporting role and not necessarily like the main role, right? They're supporting the other instruments that have, I don't want to say more distinct timbres, because the strings have a distinct timbre. I don't know. Maybe I'll just say that. They were thinking of the strings in terms of just like a supporting kind of foundation. They're the foundation of the rest of the orchestra. The orchestra has all the rest of the pretty timbres, like the oboe timbres and the clarinet timbres, but the strings have a very nice rock solid timbre. And unless you want them to be the main focus, you ought to write them in more open harmony, so that they're, you know, the foundations, like we said. So also, like I said, a lot of them write horns together. And horns do sound good together, except for whatever Brahms did. But I've done that for like the past few revisions of this piece, where I had the horns playing in like close harmony, and I didn't really like it that much. It's not what I'm going for. So then I guess if I were to include horn, it'd either be playing the melody, or it would be playing something a bit more open. So I think we'll try that next. I'm thinking whether I should have something double this here, or whether it should be oboe solo, because I think it'd be fun to have like a horn part that doubles this. I mean, horn is a great instrument. I'm not sure if I want it to be playing like the whole time here. I did see that I didn't really like the sound of a trombone. Like I have been saying that the horn is a very well-rounded instrument though, so you know, horn can, you know, horn you can do whatever you want. I'll keep you there. Maybe I might change you out for trombone, but I'm not gonna do that just yet. Also, I realize it probably makes more sense for you to be played by first or third horn. That looks so stupid. That's actually so awful. Because if I could make horn 3 play this part, I guess. That looks really stupid though. Okay, hold on. No, nope, not what I wanted in the slightest. Doink, doink. Oh, whoops. Doink, doink. Doink, okay. I'll just say horn 3 is playing this part. Good job, horn 3, you've made it. You got a solo. And now horn 1 gets to do the higher notes because it's the first horn, so take that. What server? It's in the Discord. Do I not have my little tiny Shirgi telling you to go check out the Discord? There she is. Whoa. What? I wonder what it's gonna say. Okay, well. What in the world? You stay right here. And you decrescendo here. Okay, what was I saying? Chords, I need to write them. I need more tuba. I've been avoiding the tuba. I'm probably gonna have like contrabassoon or trombone do the bass first, and then tuba will come in later when I want, because this part needs to be a big crescendo, like an orchestral crescendo, and I need to be mindful of which instruments come in and when. Of course it'll sound good, but in terms of where it's placed in the progression of the song, I know I just called my own piece a song, screw you, it's a song. Then I need to decide, and I think the tuba might be in the next part, or at least will be in some subsequent parts where I need a bigger sound. But right now, I'm thinking of having contrabassoon, maybe horn, I guess, like low horn, fill that in, because the low horn will be a little bit less resonant than a tuba. I guess then why not just use a trombone, but you know. Hold on. There is a modulation that happens here. Yeah, because it goes from the first to the fifth. So modulation to the fifth. So that goes there. And then this is D minor. Oh wait, the violas are going... This is not correct at all. Wait. You need to do this. There you go. That's better. I guess you guys are doubling now, though. Then I'll get rid of the lower... yeah, I'll get rid of the lower viola part. There you go. Guys, play unison again. Okay. So this is not good anymore because it's a parallel fifth. I did just say stuff about, you know, keeping them in open harmony, so I think I might change this instead. I could just have you guys like copy bass notes, right? Like this. So the strings should sound, you know, they should sound less. They should sound less. And now that should give me more room for. Man, that this is kind of jumbled up. Can I? I'm sure I could have like a spacer, right? Where's the spacer? Isn't it like you? Yeah. One little bit of space here. Okay, I like that. These chords are delightful. They're simply delicious. This is an E minor chord. Okay. I'm just gonna finish writing the chords in for the strings, and then I'll get to writing them in the other instruments. Right. So 2, 5. That should sustain, but I'm just gonna have you play the note again. 6 should be A. Gonna like hot crossed buns for a second. I love hot crossed buns. Maybe this would be better. Yeah, maybe we could have like a tuba or contrabassoon, put these guys in the lower notes so that like it culminates in a bigger sound. To have the contrabasses kind of chillax for a bit instead of having that low C. I mean, I did have low E over here, I guess, but don't need low C for this one. Or low E flat, I suppose. Okay, right. Since I am just having you guys copy, I'll just write in the copy here. Okay. Okay, good. Hold on to this chord. Great. And I am having you do some different things. Apparently this this note is higher than the violas, but it wasn't here. Ah, they crossed here. Funny. What's a violoncello? Never heard of that. It's just a cello. Cello is the short name for violoncello. I guess then maybe we shouldn't have these higher notes if they're just gonna converge here. That's probably a better idea, just so there are less notes here. And then again, have you guys play unison. You guys are back to unison. Yeah, violin's already playing that, we don't need these. Cellos, you just stay focused on helping out the contrabasses. Okay. Okay, they should sound nice and open. And then, here's the fun part, and also the terrifying part, because it's hard. We get to write for all the other guys. It's not just strings that are in the orchestra, except I guess in a string orchestra. There are also all these guys. So I'm thinking we should have something like this. Okay, well the strings are kind of carrying this one, so maybe not. What does it sound like without the strings? Yeah, the strings are kind of carrying this sound. Not really, I guess not really what I want then. Maybe something more like what Mozart did. would be more accurate. Trombones and horns doubling, bassoon playing a bass note, oboes and flutes filling in the rest. Okay. That's simple enough, and very classical sounding, because it's a classical orchestra. Shut up, I know that. Oh wait, no, F. Not as low as the lowest note, but it's a pretty good low note. There you go. Ooh, that's pretty loud. And then... dynamics. Then have you guys double each other, so F and like that. And then oboes. Mozart did write for clarinet. Excuse me. Mozart did write for clarinet, but like he didn't write a lot for clarinet, because clarinet was a new instrument for his time, I believe. Or at least the clarinet that in the way we think about it today is. Okay, so now oboes fill in the rest. Or I guess we can't have one oboe play two things. I guess I'll have clarinet fill in this one then. See how that feels kind of sudden? It feels like the instruments kind of came in out of nowhere. Especially the clarinet. Clarinet's a little loud. I'm gonna turn them down. Like, you can see in the mixer, they're not really the... Okay. So... I think the way we're gonna resolve this problem is first we're gonna let the lower instruments kind of not play just yet. Do I want the bassoon to play just yet? We'll hold off on that. We'll hold off on these lower A notes. That feels better now that I got rid of the lower notes. Okay. Once again, we have you. I'll have the bassoon come in now, because now it's not on that low F. I guess it could start on high F. Sure. No. We'll have it start here. And then you guys have to move down. I'll think about where the other horn parts are going soon, but... And then... That bassoon was last playing a solo, so now it's not doing much. And then to D... Yeah, D minor. And then I'll write in this 3 chord here, which is E minor. The bassoon is playing bass note, so you play this. Or I guess... That feels a bit better when I have it come in on the second measure and not on the first measure of the phrase. So then it just kind of eases in, you know? The bass kind of sneaks in there instead of all the instruments coming in at once. But that does remind me I need the other voices to come in. I'll have the actually I'll have the bassoon come in even later because I want these voices to come in next. And for a 5 chord, which is a C major chord, so that's tuba, not trombone. Good. Then you're D minor, so whoops. You're a D minor, right? Yeah. No. Thank you. Okay, again, I'll write out the chords first and then I'll listen to the thing itself. It's a little low, but if I turn off concert pitch, you see that horns play a perfect fifth higher, or they read a perfect fifth higher, which is weird. But I understand why, but it's still weird. So instead I'm just writing like this. I think the violins could be a little higher in the mix. I did turn them down a bunch because they're weirdly really loud by default. Okay. Not sure if I really like that. Remove the horn and oboe. Hear it for themselves. I think it's this. I feel like the oboe and the clarinet aren't really cooperating. I feel like they need to either be in both oboes or both clarinets. So I guess they ought to be in both clarinets. The trombone's reaching pretty far down, so I feel like it's gonna start sounding kind of weird. We could use higher register tuba, but then that'll sound maybe a bit too much like a horn. They're only like marginally different, you know? And I feel like definitely part of it is that there needs to be more interesting stuff happening in the accompaniment. You can see the accompaniment here is just mostly just whole notes. That's definitely something I will improve on. But first I need to get the sound of the chords right first before I move on. Hello? Hi B, thank you. Okay. 2, 5, 6. That should be D minor, G major, and then A minor. Where do you want to go all the way out? Look at the journey this trombone has taken. A whole perfect fifth. I'm not even sure if I want that. I don't like how low it is. I would prefer something like this. Hold on. The horns are kind of dominating here. I think I'll just get rid of them for here. And now the clarinet and the trombone are playing the same thing. Maybe they should, you know, maybe they should. That's curious. I've never tried anything like that. Clarinet and trombone. It's better in bassoon. Okay. Once again a 5 chord. Got to write the bass notes for you. We're playing D. No, that's, wait. Yeah, it's incorrect. Here you want to move up to D, you want to move up to B. You flute, you play... And then you move to A minor, that's correct. So you guys have to move that down, down, down. Or, whoopsies. Kind of feels like trumpet needs to come in here. I don't know what it is. I heard the, and I do say that the oboe is kind of like the trumpet woodwind, right? So I'm like, I feel like there needs to be like a very subtle trumpet sound. So I'm gonna move you actually to trumpet here. And also select a, okay, I do have my good trumpet sound enabled. A little bit louder. Because the trumpet, of course, will play over, maybe, oh, I think maybe 2 trumpets. Or maybe, no, 2 yeah, just the whole party, whole gang's invited. Just get it right, please. I don't know, man. No, what, bro, what is this? Put you above the staff, please. Thank you. This might be like starting to write, like overwrite, but no, not yet, not yet. Not yet. Something like this would have to come later. Also, you should probably be playing in second flute, not first. Yeah. here I feel like the tuba needs to come in. I feel like I should write in the rest of this bit here. This is D minor. This is E minor. This is D minor, G major, A minor, G major, F major, C major. Okay, good. I wanted to add another violin part. I think that'll help. Also, I mean, I guess I don't need to that, but I like that better. There is also more stuff that happens here. It's not just this melody. There are counter melodies that I have written down. I just haven't implemented them yet into the thing. So I think there needs to be more stuff. 5, 4, 1. Okay, again, kind of generic sounding, but I don't know why I didn't extend these guys. Longer, please. Thank you. Okay. Maybe not to piano, or definitely to like mezzo. Let's have you guys play louder. Right now you're playing pianissimo. I'm gonna boost you guys to piano instead. That's a little bit better. I feel like these clarinets come in a little too hot though. So this clarinet shush for a bit. And you know what, while we're at it, this clarinet shush for a bit. But also since you guys are doubling the trombones, I guess I need to follow the same pattern in y'all. Again, the instruments kind of need to come in naturally, so starting from the top. I want to hear the contrabassoon coming in this part. Man, see how much the contrabassoon adds? It's so beautiful. Okay. Also, why are... Oh, wait, you're part of this. See? Oh my gosh, this is why I need spacers. Add spacer. Block. Bloop. There you go. That's not a whole lot better, but it's something. Okay. These spacers probably won't exist in the final version, but for now, I'm gonna keep them separate. So, what do I think I need to change here? Well, first of all, I need to add in all the... Let me just get rid of this project for a sec. Let me close this tab. There you go. And I shall add in all the extra funny business here. Wait. Let me try this. Nope, not that. Please select what I want you to select. Select second voice, thank you. Put it here. This might be really stupid, so I'm gonna put it in a different instrument first. No, please, let me do my thing. Thank you. Remove all those stupid second voice rests. That's pretty high, but what does it sound like? It needs to be in like clarinet or something, I think. Seems like I don't have clarinets. Not for long. Easy peasy. Man, getting a new clarinet was so easy. Orchestrators hate it. They don't actually, they like it. Hold on. Okay. I mean, that's nice, but I also need somewhere to go from here. Okay, well, anyway. Yeah, wait, wrong. Wait, no, that only moves it aesthetically, but not practically. There you go. Okay, you ought to make this note last a little longer. Just do that, I guess. That's dynamic here. There you go. Maybe even crescendo here? I'm a little hesitant to do that, but... becomes very string heavy again, and I'm not sure if I prefer that. I mean, strings sound great, but like... you know, not sure if I like that. Okay. I want to hear it in context again. I don't like this immediately. I'm noticing something. I'm liking the brass less and less the more I orchestrate this. I'm liking the brass influence in this particular section. I'm not liking it very much. But also, I think I need to change this chord, this one chord. I need to change this to like something like this. Something in me is telling me this is not it. So we're in B flat major, so you go to B. So this is an E flat major chord, so you stay here. You go up there. Actually, yeah, the chord is mostly the same, but just the note. I mean, I could also have just a normal 4 chord. Right? I guess I also forgot to change this guy. I guess here you see, it's just the same notes. I don't think that's very good. I need to like commit, right? So don't crescendo, I don't think. Or decrescendo, I should say, sorry. Don't decrescendo. This trumpet comes in so hot. Wait for it. I can like hear it immediately. That's really bothering me. You need to start from even quieter, even if that's even possible on a trumpet, I guess. But like I said, I'm liking the brass part less and less, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. It can play the melody, but like the accompaniment, it's just not it. In fact, more of this. Yes, get rid of all that bassiness. Don't need it just yet. Save that for the finale. I need it to be nice and airy right now. So that means more spread out strings and woodwind harmony. But I'm not sure if I even like how this bassoon line kind of goes. Might just make it part of the harmony instead of making it play the bass notes, but just nah, it's good. It's fine. It's fine. You start at mezzo forte, and then you can move to forte, I think. You're into sport. There you go. Okay. No, you play higher. Play higher. No, no. Actually, you. Oh, whoopsies. Play lower. Flute, you help out here. Or maybe like something like this, where you guys bump up. Hello. Oh, hey, why are there 2 fortes here? like this. Okay. Okay. That's what I thought. None of these chords are ringing out A. Like, why does it sound so off? Because I haven't quite written them for the woodwinds correctly. Maybe don't delete them, but like something's off about this. It's probably what the bassoon was meant to fill in. And then, yeah. Yeah, technically this G would supposed to be moving up to A. And it's the only G here, because there's no middle G. I guess I did write that. I need more instruments to like to move upwards. And then I guess you guys can move down. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense though if you move downwards only. So that means all the B's would have to move down to A. And I guess all the D's would move down to C. But that runs into this because you guys are moving down. So everything should move up. That's like the rule. Okay, so of course to solve this problem, I could add, or I could have another instrument kind of chime in here, like this. I have like the brass come in here, right? Because they're not really doing, oh, whoopsies. They're not really doing much right now, and I want them to be like introduced here. Kind of slow and steady fade in. So again, 5, 4, and 1. Whoops, wrong clef. That makes me feel a little better. Okay. I'm gonna try adding a piccolo here. I think I want to have a piccolo in general, but I'm gonna see. I want to hear what it sounds like if I double this. But also, piccolo, shut up! You're so loud. I mean, I kind of. I don't know if a piccolo solo would go over too well here, but maybe. Not yet. But I think I will use that actually. Like I do like the how thin it sounds. It just needs to be used later in the melody when I want it to become thinner. And it will become thinner. So right, and then there's a melody. Full is just more. The flute is just more well-rounded than the piccolo in terms of sound. I don't know if maybe like we have both flutes playing. I kind of like the idea of like a solo flute playing here. But again, I need to do this correctly because if I'm gonna have all these brasses come in, then I need to be careful to make it sound more fleeting. Like I maybe should have done that better. Maybe not have brasses in. Otherwise it's not going to sound quite right. But then they're not really doing anything the entire time. I guess I don't need to have them, but... And the chords here are very, very simple. probably makes more sense for one of the horns to fill in this bottom row here. But I'll do that in this next bit. No, you're under horn. You stay like right there. Okay. Not sure if I like this so much just yet. Well, I thank you. Those are very kind words. Thank you very much. Let's see. Okay. I know I haven't been saying very much in this last few moments, but I'm thinking here because I didn't want the... Because this is a flute melody, right? And when I have a flute melody here, I feel like the accompaniment needs to be equally as light as the flute, and the brass just isn't as light as the flutes, which is why I'm like, I don't think I want... That's why I was hesitating. Like, do I even add brass here? Like, that's gonna... Like, it might sound good without the flutes, but it doesn't sound good with the flute. The flute just doesn't mix very well with this. It would mix better with like a violin kind of harmony, right? Not... Maybe even like trumpets, right? But not trombones. You would have to be like here, I think. I can keep horns at most two. Most two horns should be playing this. So high trombone's good, trumpet good. These horns, not sure about this here. I might just get rid of that. There you go. Also don't need this. There you go, get rid of that. And I guess it would make more sense for you to go on second horn. Or third horn. Okay. I haven't used horn 2 and 4 a whole lot, but it's not really a bad thing. If I can squeeze more sound out of less instruments, that's always a boon. So we're gonna keep it like this. And then I think we're gonna have, of course, multiple trumpets play the why am I blanking again? Playing the harmony. Goodness gravy. And wait, hold on. The first voice does need to decrescendo. Please select this. Properties, first voice, properties, first voice. Why are you all the way down here? Go above. Meet up with your first voice friend. Okay. So, if the brass is playing the harmony, the brass is not playing the lower part of the harmony. That can be delegated to bassoons. It could be delegated to strings. Why? Because if the brass is in the bass, then the entire harmony section will be too bassy. And the super bassy harmony and the super high and dazzling flute, they just don't mix. At least for what I'm going for. They don't mix well. And I want things to mix. I'm all about mixing. So, if there's gonna be harmony, it's in the higher ranges. Good. And yeah, contribute basses or contrabassoons here. Nice. But what notes are you gonna play now? I think technically you need to play like this. I guess oboe just won't play for this. That's fine. Piano. No, not pianissimo. Piano. Thank you. I was like, that note is so loud. Okay. Why are you only playing for 2 beats? Play for the whole measure, darn it. Play the whole thing. Ooh. That might be better. Slightly. Why are you so loud? Okay, whatever, you're the same volume. Okay. Okay, just checking, just checking. And then 6, again, A minor. You guys are all copying each other. Except for the violins, but they're up there. Oh, nope, sorry. Didn't want to write that. Definitely wanted to write this instead. Okay, just curious to see what this sounds like. I am going to modify the chords, but these are just kind of some repeating chords. But throughout these chords, the instrumentation is supposed to lift slightly, right? It's supposed to... We're going to lose some of the bass. But I just want to hear what the chords sound like, just, you know, on their lonesome, so... Okay. I mean, they're good sounding chords, but again, I need them to look at that connect 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. It's like a big tic-tac-toe board. Not ideal. At least we're going to have some of the chords alleviate themselves. Let me just show you what happened in the original here. There's a counter melody. It goes on for a little bit. Bass stops. Very nice mysterious chord here. Okay. So something I noticed is, in order to make it feel lighter, I removed the bass note. That's a very fun way to remove some of the heaviness. Of course, is to remove the heaviest sounding instruments, which include the contrabasses and all that jazz. So let me fix my posture. I'm sticking into my seat. That ain't no good. Okay. So what I need to do here is that I need to, you know, these chords can continue for a while. Maybe even grow a little grander towards the middle here, but then they need to quickly die down. Like, there's a bit of excitement here, but somehow I need to add some excitement without, like... How about this? Like this, perhaps. Have, like, you know, a fortissimo flutes, which might be really hard. Well, what am I saying hard? I have multiple flutes. This one's just the piccolo, but, you know. Just have them play together. Flute only. And then dovetail here into the piccolo. Because the piccolo has a much thinner sound than the flutes. I need a very thin sound here. It's a very tense sound, this chord. So the melody needs to be equally as tense and thin, right? Taking advantage of that low piccolo register as opposed to this. What a nice, very thin sound. So there's that sorted, I guess. And after this, we still need to have some chords. I did say maybe we could get a bit grander, probably maybe in line with this. I think this is peaking a little bit too late. You guys need to move over a bit, I think, like here. And then you can go down to like piano even. Ooh, maybe mezzo piano. But that means I need to make this change kind of dramatic, right? I'm going from fortissimo to just a nice mezzo piano. Okay, so for this, of course they can get more grand towards this fortissimo, but like right after that, almost immediately after, they need to start dying down. And if that starts with the basses need to chill out for a sec. Here, have you play a little longer. Same for contrabassoon, since you guys are playing the same notes. I need to slowly, I think, go from string, all of the strings need to go, I think. And then the woodwinds kind of take over the chords. And all we're left with is woodwind chords, I think is what I want. Maybe a little longer, actually. I'll only play this for like a bit. Like I said, I think the strings need to like die away. Beautiful. You can already feel that some of it's kind of went missing. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay. this A I think is the same as this A. Yes, so I'll just have you guys die off at the same time. Same with this. Okay, good. We're getting closer to what I want. And after this, you guys need to like... There you go. And what? No, you're fine. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too light. There needs to be something. This clarinet can stay. Trombone definitely has to go though. And yeah, just have it like that. That's good. Okay. And then of course this is a C major over E back to, okay, well first write the bass note. Who's playing the bass now? It's a mighty-fine question, which is none of you guys. I guess it could be clarinet, and I'll just do this clarinet. So yeah, it will be just flutes and oboes and stuff left. And then the nice mysterious chord will come in right here. Also, I don't like that I'm getting so cramped up. Hold on. More measures. 100 measures. I'm not gonna use 100. Just have big opens. That is so many more measures than I thought it was. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's hear it again. Okay, well, you need to start from like a different volume, I think. Like piano. There you go. Okay, definitely there needs to be some movement in the notes of the chords, but this is getting closer. So I like this. I'm gonna go back to my original. This is very easy going clarinet line that happens here, and that can be easily given to this guy. Oh wait, yeah, you also need to transpose. quieter. Okay, good. I'm not sure who's going to be playing the counter melody because it was the oboe before, but I've kind of used up all my woodwind. It could be strings, 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 save us. Oh yeah, also you need to transpose because this is in a new key. Also, that's in a better key for violins anyway, so you should be thankful. Okay, well, I'd like to hear you, so a little louder, please. Nope, don't like it. Needs to be something else. But what? Do horn, but you'd have to be like low, low. Could be high, I guess, but that might be too high. This F is probably really optimistic, so it probably would need to be in something else. Here, swap these out, I think, would be a better solution. You're kind of hard to hear now. Definitely you need to calm down here, and then like maybe starting from here, right? You need to decrescendo as the orchestra lifts. Okay, now this is going to be a very peculiar chord, first of all, because it's not transposed correctly, but it is a kind of a tone cluster. So there's this fundamental here, which is being played, which is the 2 chord. Then there are all these extra notes. A, which is the 3rd, and yeah, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th. So that's 2. Yeah, this is 2, 6, 2, 6, 3, and 4. So that chord would sound like this. And I want it to be a bit brassy, like high trumpets or something. Or no, high trombones. So 2, this is C major, so D. I think we want like a low. Yeah, like a low horn maybe it would be fun. Let's have a look. I guess then. Well, no. I'm gonna try not to use this horn if I don't have to. The 2 and 4. We'll just have 2 horns in this. Don't need to have too many horns. Have a nice fundamental note there. Have you play piano? Hello. And then, right, 2, 6. So 6, excuse me, is A. I'm not even sure if I did say I want higher trombone, like that. Yeah, beautiful. These guys will play that, or I think this D should be played by a bassoon actually. That would make more sense. So just do that. Maybe even like high contrabassoon. Sounds like a saxophone, don't it? And also doesn't sound very good actually. And weirdly you can hear it over everything else, so I need you to shush. Hold on. Put it back in... Put it back in horn. It was 2, 6, 3, and 4. So 3 would be E. Have E play here. Maybe bassoon can play 4, which is F. Hold on. F. But like high F, right? Also shush. It's closer, but not quite. I think I need to rearrange some of these instruments around. So 2, 6. None of you guys are playing. What was the note? A. Some of you guys need to play A. How about the other bassoon plays A? So that means we have all the notes. Okay. Is that the way I want to orchestrate it? Maybe. Ooh, okay, so how about this? How would the other note be played in trombone? Better, rounder, less thin, now that it's not being played on bassoon. Okay. Have like a cello kind of punch in here. Just to support it. Okay, and then this moves up to a G major chord. I guess. Yeah. Well. That feels kinda right, but not really. These non-chord tones move down. So that include no, you're a chord tone. This is originally a G minor chord. So yeah, B flat would be a chord tone, I guess. Our ears are playing the same notes. That's not what I want at all. Hey. Actually, no. G. You stay at G. You play for a little longer and then you like... Nah, you keep playing. And you... Well, you probably need to go. This, like this. Play a little extra longer. Okay, try this. It feels like there needs to be a little bit more bite to that chord, I feel like. It needs to be a little bit more frigid. It needs to feel a little colder. So let me try this, I guess. Okay, that kind of works, yeah. Okay. It is kind of weird that these instruments just kind of go away. I probably need to fix that. Kind of made it so that most of the notes stop playing in the original. If I wrote it like this, perhaps. Lasts a little too long. Okay, well there definitely needs to be some helping out here of the notes. How about you? This E. I'm sure if I like both of you guys playing at dissonance. Piano here, and you guys play together so that the trombone's kind of like intersecting these horns. And then, of course, have you guys kind of fill in the rest of the bits. These low oboes might be a bit weird, but they might sound good in context. You guys play pianissimo here. I don't like the contrabassoon much anymore. I think the oboes kind of fill in that harshness that I wanted, so maybe tuba. Or, no, not tuba actually. Do cello. But louder. Good. Okay. Try again from the beginning. Okay. One thing I noticed, I want these notes to repeat. Play twice. Wonder if I'll even be able to hear that. A little bit, but maybe because I was expecting it. Same kind of difference here, I think. This movement into the next bit needs to be a bit more pronounced, I think, so let's see if I can do that. This might be kind of weird, but want to hear it? That was a little better. Makes this like transition back to the piano kind of awkward. You know what, we'll have that, but it'll have to be a bit more subtle. I like that it kind of thrusts forward here, but as for the decrescendo, the decropotendo, this is how you do this. Allow space for the movements to come in, I guess. You know what? Maybe this is a bit too harsh. We'll do like this, and then you guys will just have accents, maybe. Nope, that doesn't work. Tunuto better. I don't even think MuseScore plays Tunuto, but... Okay. Definitely there are things I need to change and improve, but that'll be next time because it's like 1:30 a.m. So it's bedtime for me. So thanks for stopping by if you did. And if you're watching the VOD, then hi. Apparently I have VOD watchers, but not very many. Wonder what y'all are up to watching my VODs. What are you're probably not looking at it. You're probably doing something else, having it in the background. Unbelievable. Well, anyway, that'll be all today. Good night and bye bye.